When you're using the solution-focused approach, it's really important not to make any assumptions about what the client wants from therapy. Oftentimes, the client may not be there to solve a problem. The outcome they're seeking may be an increase in their own resiliency, in their own strength, competencies, resolve, and not necessarily for the problem to go away. For example, when I learned solution-focused brief therapy, there was a natural disaster that had just happened in New Orleans that was referred to as Hurricane Katrina. And a lot of residents of New Orleans and southern Louisiana and southern Texas were displaced and had to relocate to places all throughout America, but in particularly the places close to New Orleans like Texas where I was working. And in Fort Worth, Texas, a shelter was set up at a convention center for the people that had no place to go and were moved immediately out of New Orleans. And this shelter asked for volunteers from the agency where I worked to work with these clients, to work with the people who had been displaced. Now, my coworkers and peers knew that I was doing solution-focused work, and they kind of poked at me like, how are you going to ask these people the miracle question, or how are you going to ask these people about their desired outcome when obviously their desired outcome would be that this disaster hadn't happened. Now, to me, that's a huge assumption. You're assuming that people's desire would be that the problem wouldn't have happened. But people are strong. People are not dumb. People are not stupid. And they knew when I worked with them that this disaster had happened. They knew that I'm not a miracle worker in the literal sense. They knew that I don't have a time machine and I can't go back in time and change this. So when I asked people about their desired outcome, what do you best hope from our talking, what they asked for was an increase in their resolve, an increase in their strength, an increase in their capacity, their determination. And that makes sense to me. I remember working with this grandmother. It was one of the most heart-wrenching conversations I'd ever had. This grandmother had no idea what had happened to her daughter. To this day, I don't know what had happened to her daughter. But she made it out of New Orleans with her 3 grandchildren, the children of her daughter. So what do you best hope from our talking? And she said she wanted to be strong for her grandchildren. It was very important to her that her grandchildren had as much of a normal experience as they could while this was happening. So, as you move forward, what would you notice to let you know that you had the type of strength and resolve that would help your grandchildren have as normal of an experience as possible? And she talked about reading to them at night, and she talked about caring for them through this process. This shelter, they set up like little play areas for the kids, and she talked about allowing them to go play basketball and play the games in this little play area. And there were these FEMA is an organization that was helping kind of organize, and the people living in the shelter had to go and get interviewed, and she said she wouldn't involve them in that interview because it was too much for them. And she just described this world where the problem was still present, but her ability and resolve to go through it in a way that honored the children had increased. Now, that happens a lot in therapy, where it doesn't have to be a natural disaster to the degree that Katrina was. Like it happens all the time. Like, for example, imagine you are a step parent and your partner has asked you to do something very challenging, like stay out of a situation so that they can handle it. Like, that's not easy. So if I say, what do you best hope from our talking, don't assume that they want, well, I want that problem to go away. Maybe they just want the strength and ability to do this hard thing. It happens when, imagine you're in college and you're pursuing a big goal like a college degree, right? What do you best hope from our talking? You don't pray or you don't wish for the tests to go away. Your desired outcome is an increase in my ability to handle the challenges in front of me. So when you're doing this approach, don't make assumptions about the client problem. Really listen to what they're saying and allow them to tell you what their desired outcome is. Because sometimes the desired outcome is not the removal of a problem as much as it is an increase in your personal strength and determination. We've all been in that situation. I've been in that situation. I'm in that situation in certain parts of my life right now, where I need to be strong and I need to be capable and I need to be resilient. I don't need the problem to go away as much I need to make sure I'm the type of person who's capable of handling the challenges associated with the problem. That's when people are brilliant. That's when people are at their best. And in therapy, we have to allow people's brilliance and people's ability to be at their best to shine through. So I hope that this message makes sense to you, and I hope you connect with it, because it's really important when you're using this approach to take that stance. Please like this video, comment below. I'd really love to hear what your thoughts are. Help me share this. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. I release videos like this all the time. And if you're watching this video any place other than my website at elliottconnie.com, go on over there and shoot over there. I got loads of free material, news and updates to keep up with my training schedule and all my announcements. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you next time.